What's going on, guys? BMP back, and welcome to Halloween month. Woo! We are in it. And we start out with Alien Predator. No, not that one. That's better. So this movie follows a group of Black Ops soldiers as they try to rescue or at least find the remains of this other unit that had previously been attacked at the very beginning of the movie. There are so many people in this one unit that it was almost impossible to actually figure out who was who. But mostly the commanding officer is Adrian. That's all we know about him. Once this other unit goes down and their vitals are out and everything, he goes to his commanding officer and asks if they can, mount a rescue op, and he says no. So Adrian then gathers a bunch of people together on his own, and they go rogue, pretty much. They go AWOL from their unit, they all go out on their own, and we followed them the entire movie. So we find out pretty much that the aliens use these purple energy bolts. That's what they fire. They're like energy lasers from their rifles. These lasers start coming out of nowhere. And I mean actually nowhere. Like, you never actually see an origin point to these lasers. Even when you're aimed in that direction, they never actually show where these lasers are coming from. But one of them explodes or hits Buckner, and yeah, you can guess it. He's dead. I mean, he's...
No.
What?
Not on impact.
No, not on impact, but he's dead. Like...
Oh, he was
Yeah,
right.
he ends up becoming Two-Face.
Oh,
Yet
my
somehow
God.
still has a better looking fake eye than Rey Mysterio.
That was gruesome. Both the match and this scene were both gruesome. But this scene was gruesome. I mean, holy
Yeah, and surprisingly, he doesn't die right on impact. And what's a recurring theme in this movie is Brooks, which is the tech expert of the unit, keeps getting almost like bullied by the rest of the unit. They ridicule him. They never want to listen to anything he has to say, even if it's good advice. They blame him when things go wrong, even when it's clearly not his fault. And when he's looking after Buckner, he pretty much says, there's nothing we can do for him. He's gone, And right away, everyone gets on his case. Like, we don't leave a man behind. Like, yes, you're right, you don't. But even Adrian says, like, Brooks is right. Like, if we have to keep moving, this is not going to help anybody. We're probably just going to get more people killed right now trying to drag this carcass with us. At one point, Adrian orders four of the soldiers to split off. And it's Brooks, Malloy, Plant, and Falk. And they end up finding a foreign soldier. It's not one of theirs. It's either an enemy soldier or whatever. They don't really specify. And he's tied to a tree with what looks to be like intestines. But I don't think they're in his own intestines because he was clearly too alive for them to be his own.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I was like...
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, but for him to be alive as long as he was, they really couldn't be his. And he doesn't speak English, but as they translate, they say he keeps mentioning aliens. And, he's saying he doesn't want to give away their position, even though he's yelling. He doesn't want to give away their position, but he keeps mentioning aliens. And at one point, Plant gets disgusted, says that his yelling is going to give away their position, and he just takes it upon himself to shoot the guy in the head.
Have him shut the hell up and stop giving away our position, or I'm gonna put a bullet in his ass. Shut him up! Shut up!
And this is another reoccurring theme in the movie, with Plant just being too impulsive, too rash, never really thinking about what he's going to do next, and just being an overall dick, to be honest. So now, as the team continues to move, these four soldiers, like I said, Malloy, Brooks, Falk, and Plant, they come across a small black, it looked like an oversized marble. And right away, they do warn that it could be connected to a bomb. It could be some kind of trip mine. Like, be careful. But then here goes Plant once again. It's not a mine, just pick it up. Malloy picks it up. It seeps right into his hand, travels up his arm into his chest, and boom.
Shit, need to get him back to the drop it.
I can't! It's in my arm!
Boy!
It's in my arm!
Whoa.
It's in my arm! Fuck! Brooks! Ah!
But once again, somehow, they try to pin it on Brooks. he didn't get the readings for the mine quick enough. Like, Plant, you're the one who's told them it was okay to pick up. Like, you were some kind of expert. Like, it was like the whole movie, Plant was just this, like child. You know? Like, it was like middle school bully bullshit. Like, you have no basis for what you're saying, but let's keep pushing the issue.
Now, with all this stuff going on, you got alien bombs on the ground, you have alien goo or blood or whatever that was on the ground, these purple laser beams shooting at them and stuff. But at this point, it's almost a half hour into this movie, and we still have yet to even see the alien.
So the unit ends up getting to the crashed spaceship that's crashed into a building. And they leave Skarloff outside to stay behind, keep an eye out, be their backup if they need it. The rest of the unit goes into this tunnel that's right underneath the building. And as they get inside, the entrance is completely blocked off, almost in an instant. That Skarloff, even from the outside, says he has no idea how it happened. As they're radioing to him and saying, like, you know, how did this happen or whatever, all of a sudden he gets into the middle of a firefight, as if we missed 20 minutes of his experience outside.
Thuds, and then the entrance just wasn't there anymore. Over.
I'm under attack. They're everywhere.
And he's just lighting nothing up, shooting off screen, up until he dies too.
Now, we're 50 minutes into this movie of them traveling through the ship here, and guess what? There still has yet to be an alien. We're almost at the hour mark.
Yeah.
And still no aliens.
As the unit breaks up in the building, some of them go stay in the building and search it, and some go onto the ship. We end up following Brooks, Carter, and Falk. And they get to this, it almost looks like an engine room, but it's not. It's just these big basins of whatever radioactive material or chemical that Brooks kept picking up in the forest. Falk decides it's a good idea to touch this thing that she's never seen before in her life, and then immediately starts dying from it.
What does that mean?
Like, it's not even like she inhaled something or ate something. She just touched it. So I guess it absorbed into her skin. And almost immediately, she starts coughing up blood, keels over on the floor, and dies. That's it. And almost right after that, like while Carter and Brooks are still reeling from her death, Carter gets a blade in the back, and he drops dead.
Sarge,
I don't want anything to happen.
And then, Chris.
Matt, you were close. You said it's almost an hour in. Right before the hour mark, we get our first glimpse of their version of an alien. Brooks evades the first alien, right? Meets up with the other group. They're able to kill an alien by blowing it up. They drag it to another room and boom, unmask this thing.
What? And just like that, I'm disappointed.
Yeah, that is disgusting.
At this point in the movie, the only surviving soldiers are Plant, Adrian, Brooks, and Alvarez. That's it. And it was a pretty big unit to start with. So big that like we got lost in who was who at the beginning of the movie. And now we're down to 4. But once again, Plant starts being this arrogant bully who doesn't really know anything because he talks Alvarez into grabbing the alien's rifle to use it against them. And Adrian keeps warning her, don't touch it. I told you guys specifically, do not touch anything that you did not bring in yourself. Because we already saw with Malloy, just by touching the black marble, he got blown up for it. Falk touched the whatever it was, the goo, and died from it. So just don't touch anything. And this is what I mean by like they're almost children. Like you have to tell your child, don't touch that. Don't touch that. You gotta tell Plant, shut the fuck up, and you gotta tell Alvarez, don't touch that. She grabs the rifle and bursts into flames. Why? Don't ask me. But this is her face afterwards.
Let me rewind for just a second. And she goes,
They're not human.
What did he mean? What did he mean by that?
let me tell you what I mean by that. We're humans, they're aliens. Done.
Yeah, I'm telling you, and like you said, you catch something like this in every movie that we watch. And it's just like, some of these movies could be so much better if they just took out this kind of nonsense dialogue. Like, if these people are really Black Ops soldiers, that means they've had more than enough time in the military, right? They've had more than enough time on the ground, in serious situations, where they really have to think and like analyze and interpret, and they have to have a significant level of intelligence, in my opinion. Maybe I'm wrong. But for someone to say they're not human, you're going to turn around and say, what does he mean by that? What the do you think he means by that? You already saw the ship in the building. You already saw the bomb that can go into people's skin. You already saw the goo that absorbs into skin and you just die. I don't know how much more proof you need. It's like when you get movies like this, like an alien movie, everyone in the movie is ignorant and skeptical that aliens exist. Like they don't even know what the word is. If you get a ghost movie, everyone is ignorant and skeptical about what a ghost is. It's like you can never just have people that have common sense. I know if that was me, that was all of us. If we were those three soldiers in that scene, and that guy on the floor said, they're not human, I'd go, oh shit. We got aliens up in here. Let's go. You know? Like, I would never hesitate to say...
When we saw the spaceship outside.
Yeah, I mean, especially if you have evidence like that smacking you in the face before you even get into it. How do you not turn around and say, yep, okay, now it's 100% confirmed they're aliens? But no, because it's a movie like this, they just have to be completely ignorant to what an alien could even be, as if they've never heard the word before. Now that we're down to Adrian, Plant, and Brooks, once again, Plant starts bullying Brooks. And at this point, it just got so infuriating to hear because it was just so unnecessary and without basis. Like, he just starts berating him for no reason.
That's the plan. Why? Because this jerk off says so.
But then we get my favorite part of the movie because this happens. Yep, Plant gets impaled. Thank you, alien. You did everyone a service today. Brooks finds out that the aliens have compound eyes, which means once they use their flash bombs, they get all disoriented because they can't take the intense light. So he wants to use that as a way to disorient them, distract them, and get the advantage over them. And that's actually what gets Plant killed, because he doesn't want to listen to Brooks. He thinks they need to just go in full force, and that was the result. Now that it's just down to Brooks and Adrian, they start running away, and Adrian gets clipped in the neck by an energy laser and pretty much tells Brooks that he needs to get out of there on his own. And Alvarez then proceeds to take his last stand against one of the aliens, who proceeds to just do this to him. So that was ineffective. Brooks makes it back to the, I don't want to say engine room, but whatever those big basins were where Carter and Falk died, and he plants an explosive. He then runs back into the rock tunnel and sets the detonator. And then squares off. After detonating the bomb, he squares off with an alien in this little cave, which he actually ends up killing, which was a big victory for him, up until another alien shows up right afterwards, and Brooks is spent. He has nothing left to give in this fight. He has no weapons to fight it with. But luckily, it doesn't want to fight. It actually shows him, I guess, through a vision, what actually happened to them. That they did accidentally crash on Earth. They had no intention on fighting on Earth, taking over Earth, invading Earth. It was all honestly an accident. And they're just trying to fix their ship and get home. And what ends up happening is the humans are actually the ones to attack them. And, Brooks now realizes all this because it was shown directly into his brain. And the alien just lets him leave. And then the spaceship takes off. And that's it. And I gotta be honest, the only significant points in this movie are Soldier's death. That's it. I have no other interest in anything that happened in this movie besides the small, points that you just drop in to see these soldiers die. That was it. So let's just move on to the ratings. Chris, what do you got?
Honestly, I don't know how to even grade this movie because inherently it wasn't a bad movie. I was confused in the beginning, but it really picked up at the end. So I'm going to give it an A. I enjoyed the movie, but I was very confused in the beginning. No.
This movie, you give an A. This.
I wanted to give it a B,
this
but I really
dumpster
didn't
fire, you give an A.
This was
but you
better.
gave me shit for giving Six-Headed Shark Attack an A.
Hey now, this was much better than Six-Headed Shark Attack. Much better.
No, it was not.
No,
yes,
it was not.
Yes, it was.
Ladies
yes,
and gentlemen, you are about to witness the first virtual fight in BMP history.
It was much. I will defend this movie. I was fucking confused, okay? I was fucking confused. But I gave Six-Headed Shark Attack a B, I think.
You give this movie an A. Wow.
I'm going to give it an A. I'm giving it an A. The both of you, I'm giving it an A.
Delete him.
Get me out of here. Get me out of this meeting. I'm giving it an A.
Matt, what do you got?
I give this movie an F. Because this movie was complete, utter garbage. You didn't see an alien till a freaking hour into the movie. You see fucking lasers and smoke that filled the whole entire forest for who knows what reason. The aliens looked like shit. And they were nice. They said, we crashed here by accident. Thank you, see ya. And that was the end of the movie. Everyone died for no reason. And I'm sticking with this. You're an idiot.
You. This was better than Six-Headed Shark Attack.
I gotta say, I was teetering between two grades here, but I'm going to give this movie an F.
Thank you.
I am. And only because I was thinking of a B. Because once you got to the final act, especially the final act, when the unit got a lot smaller, you were only dealing with a handful of characters at this point. And once you finally got to see the alien and things started picking up,
yes,
it worked. And Brooks is the MVP of this movie. I'll say it right now. I loved his character. I loved everything that he did in this movie. It just worked. He worked. But it took too long to get there. And like I said, the only interesting points of this entire movie were when a soldier died. Like, you could literally just do a supercut of this movie and just have it be every soldier's death. There's nothing else of interest in this entire hour-and-a-half movie. In between the deaths, it's all just slow, boring nothingness. And I can't condone that. If they had put some other interesting things in between the deaths, if you had some character conversations that gave you more insight into who they were, maybe gave them some backstory, then I would definitely give this movie a solid B, or depending on what they were talking about, maybe even an A. But there was nothing. It was literally just walk through the forest, have a soldier die. Walk through the forest, have a soldier die. Walk through the forest, have a soldier die, have a soldier die, have a soldier die. And I'm not entertained by that. It was too boring and too uneventful up until the final act of the movie for me to say, yeah, this was great. So I do have to give it an F, even though I really, really enjoyed the final act. Guys, that is our review on Alien Predator. Get out of here, not that one. Tune in next week when we cover Rise of Zombies, week 2 of Horror Month with our boy Danny Trejo. Woo! Look who's back. Look who's coming back onto our screens. I can't wait. As always, guys, if you enjoyed what we had to say, like this video, share it with your friends, comment down below what you thought of this movie or suggestions of movies you want us to cover in the future, and of course, subscribe to catch more of these videos every week. But until then, I'm Anthony.
Sigourney Weaver.
Matt,
He's Matt. He's not Matt, and we'll see you next time. Later!